Greeting, fellow humans. Katrina here. I'll stop clicking around. Quick disclaimer, I am a licensed professional counselor. I'm not your counselor. This is not to be mistaken for any sort of medical, legal, or otherwise advice. If you need medical attention, please seek help in your local area. This podcast is purely for my amusement and your entertainment and nothing else. So disclaimer over. Today I'd like to talk about a few things that I don't know about interpersonal skills. So again, quoting from the Marsha DBT skills training and handouts and worksheets, there is an entire section on interpersonal skills, and I'm going to give you only 3. These 3 can be really in depth, and they're even possible for, I would say, a CBT therapist to use a few DBT techniques, right? So DBT being dialectical behavioral therapy and CBT being cognitive behavioral therapy. I get a little out there with the acronyms sometimes. So these 3 skills today are actually acronyms. So if you are a scribbler, go ahead and get out your pen and paper. The first acronym is DEARMAN, the second one is FAST, and the third one is GIVE. So these are guidelines for obtaining different things in different interpersonal situations. The first one I mentioned, DEARMAN, that's about getting what you want. We'll go a little bit more into depth of that in a moment. The FAST acronym, FAST doesn't mean talk as fast as I do, but it is a guide to self-respect effectiveness, keeping that respect for yourself, because when we act different than what our values are, oftentimes that can chip away at a person's self-esteem. Then the third acronym I'll tell you about, that GIVE, is one that is guidelines for keeping a relationship. Or if you are in an altercation or conflict or discourse of some sort where you would like to preserve the relationship, GIVE is a really good one to use. So here we go. DEARMAN stands for, the D is for describe, just describing the current situation, telling the person exactly what you're reacting to. The E is for express. You can express your feelings and opinions without assuming anything about the other type of person. The A, the first A rather, is for assert. You can assert yourself and be nice about it, in my opinion. That does take some practice. Tact is something that can be learned. R is for reinforce. So you may have to sound like a broken record if necessary, but reinforce, stay mindful of what it is that you're talking about. That's the next one. M is mindful. Stay mindful. If you're trying to get what you want and you're talking about something that happened 2 years ago, then you're no longer attempting to get what you want, but maybe sparring. Appear confident. That's the second A. And we can appear confident even when we're not necessarily confident in the slightest. Exhibit A, I exude confidence even when I do not feel it. I make sure to portray myself in that way. And that's something that can be taught or learned. You can appear confident by pretending to be confident. And that is one of those fake it till you make it kind of things, except that you may or may not ever feel confident. But that's not the point. The point is to get what you want by appearing confident in this particular case. Then the N, well, this is the hard one. The N is for negotiate. So we have describe, express, assert, reinforce, mindful, appear confident, and negotiate. So negotiate is where you just give a little, they give a little, and you get to that compromise where you get what you want to the extent that you're able within the realm of what's possible. The second one to talk about today is that FAST acronym. Actually, I'll switch it up and I'll do GIVE first, because the way to really remember these is DEARMAN GIVE FAST, and it'll be more confusing if I go out of order. So GIVE is the guidelines for relationship effectiveness. The G stands for gentle, the I, interested, V, validate, and E, easy manner. So that G, be gentle in a nice and respectful way. That means no attacks, threats, judging, or sneering of any kind, whether it be verbal or nonverbal. I don't know about you all, but I can roll my eyes like nobody's business, and that is not gentle. So be nice and respectful. The I is for interested. Act interested. If any of you have ever had any children, I am told that one must act interested in what they're saying for a particular amount of time. And this is no different. If you're wanting to preserve the relationship, appear interested, face the person, maintain eye contact if that's what they're into, and lean towards the person rather than away, and do refrain from interrupting or talking over the person, because you want to be sensitive to the person's wish to have a discussion at a later time. Really be patient in that eye interested phase. The V is for validate. So you can validate with words or actions. You can really just show the other person that you understand what's going on and around them, seeing the world from another person's point of view, and then say and act on what you see. So maybe even something as simple as, I realize this is hard for you, and I see that you are busy, things like that. E, easy manner, is what you want to use when you're wrapping up. So I think there is a TV show that talks about a compliment sandwich. The name of the TV show escapes me, but it talks about how you're really nice on the surface, and then you break up with the girl, and then you say something really nice about her so that she doesn't feel bad about being broken up with just then. So this isn't quite that, but in terms of following it up with a joke or humor or just something in an easy, lighthearted manner, if you have an inside joke with the person you're preserving their relationship, now is the time to use it. As you're diffusing whatever situation, you do want to make sure to preserve that relationship rather than just get what you want and have power and control over the other person. If you're able to negotiate in that getting what you want and preserving the relationship, then you're able to use these DEARMAN GIVE FAST skills all together, or at least the DEARMAN and the GIVE. We'll move on to the FAST now. I realize I go fast, but that's the benefit of this being recorded, is you can go back and listen. The guidelines for self-respect effectiveness, keeping respect for yourself. The FAST acronym stands for F, which is fair, A, apologies, no apologies is what I mean. S is stick to values, and T is truthful. Be truthful. We feel bad when we lie if it is outside of our moral code to lie. So when people lie to protect other people's feelings, they still feel bad because they don't believe in lying, and now they've lied, and it's a cyclical thing sometimes. But to be fair to yourself and the other person, you want to remember to validate your own thoughts, feelings, and wishes as well as the other person's. You might have that give thing down, but not the fast part. And if you're able to preserve relationships but have no self-respect, that can be problematic, in my opinion. So the A, those apologizing things are unnecessary. I apologize to someone when I have either actually hurt them or think I have hurt them in some type of way. Now, unfortunately, some people do apologize with that second one, not so much that they think that they've hurt the other person, but they think that they've inconvenienced them in some type of way. Or some folks apologize simply for existing. And so you're going to not apologize for being alive. No apologies for having an opinion or disagreeing. No looking ashamed, eyes down, head and body slumped, and no invalidating the valid. Just because you have a rebuttal for something doesn't mean it's necessary to communicate. And something is valid simply because somebody experiences it to be so. Even if two people's completely opposing opinions and perspectives don't make a lick of sense, they're each valid in their own type of way. The S is stick to values. So when you stick to your own values, you are living by your own moral code. You have no reason to feel guilty. You have no reason to feel shame. And so you're able to have that self-respect because you're not selling out your values or integrity for reasons that aren't very important. So be clear on what you believe is the moral or valued way of thinking and acting, and then stick to your guns in that respect. The T is for truthful. Be truthful. That's really simple. Don't lie or act helpless when you're not. And you don't have to exaggerate or make up excuses. Now, a lot of people don't do that past childhood. A lot of people are able to learn those techniques of how to keep your self-respect as a young kiddo. Not everybody has the same learning experience growing up, though. So some people might have a significantly higher EQ than IQ, or vice versa. Somebody might have a whole lot of book smarts and intelligence, but not know this emotional stuff and interpersonal skills. And so somebody might even have, they may have self-respect, but don't get what they want because they don't know how to do the dear man thing, or they might not have self-respect, but do have relationships where they feel walked over in some type of way. If there are interpersonal interactions that are distressing, and then you can look at what about those are distressing, then we can adjust from there. And so that's where I find these interpersonal skills really useful, is when something is not going our preferred way. And it's not that we're not getting what we want, but maybe we're not getting the satisfaction of our responses out of a situation. So I would say if you're not satisfied with how you're responding in a particular situation, and it's a situation that may come up again in the future, you might try these ideas on for size and see how they fit and see what you like, chew on it, sleep on it. And I have enjoyed speaking with each and every one of you today. Remember, DEARMAN GIVE FAST are the interpersonal effectiveness acronyms of the day. And if you like, comment, share. If you choose, toss a couple bucks, Katrina Dragon on Cash App, or you can click support the show. I do appreciate each and every one of you simply for existing.